Yeah, we're taking that count out. We're taking that count out. We're ready to go, so let's go. Salute to Megawatt, the DJ. I see you. Share the Knowledge Live, episode 52. That's not an echo. I'm just checking to see if it works on the phone. Share the Knowledge Live, episode 52. DJ Q&A, my weekly DJ Q&A. Ask me any DJ-related questions. You know what it's about. Just wanted to see if everyone is in. LinkedIn is live. Twitter is live. Facebook is live. YouTube should be good to go. YouTube is live. I see Neil Rain on YouTube right there. Chad Gray on Facebook. Salute to you. And Megawatt the DJ is on Twitch. Twitch is live as well. So, yeah, we're all good to go here. See, Twitter is, yeah, that's all good. Do not disturb. That's where we're at right now. DJ CMG, Chi-Town in the building. Salute. And we got K Smooth, 88 back up in here. DJ Z, good to see all of you. Yeah, that's what it is. The weekly Q&A. And I'm just in the studio right now working. After the Q&A, I got to get right back to work. Edit one of my new tutorial videos, one of the new breakdown videos. For those who are not familiar, the breakdown videos are all about breaking down patterns, scratch patterns that I perform during my Saturday sessions videos. Now, when I do my Saturday sessions video, I'm just freestyling, but I do all sorts of scratch patterns. And I understand that in order to properly try to emulate what someone does, and if you're not that familiar with techniques, a pattern should be broken down. And this is really aimed at beginner scratch DJs. So if you're just starting out and you have like watched scratch tutorials, the basics are going well, but now you want to try to start combining things and create patterns, this is a place to start if you want to understand how patterns work. So that's what that is all about. It's a lot of fun to do. And I have a ton of patterns because, like I said, I'm freestyling, so I can just watch any of my Saturday sessions videos and see a pattern that I can then explain. Shorter videos, not like lengthy tutorials. Try to keep it basic and just handle one pattern per video. Ecstatius in the building, salute. And we got DJ Matrix here. And a question from DJ RB. I brought a brand new Mac laptop. I want to transfer all my Serato music tags, crates from my Windows to my Mac. What's the safest and easiest way? Great question. I'm not totally sure. Like transferring the music is not really that much of a problem. Kind of depends though. Do you have are your crates, your folders, are those actual folders on your computer? Or did you make all the crates in Serato? That is the difference. And I believe there are definitely ways to export your Serato library as it is on your Mac to your Windows computer. I honestly have never done that myself before, so I'm not sure how to do it, but I know that you can. Let's see if it's on a computer. Bless your heart. Oh no, Patrick, what's up? So the thing I've always done from the very start of my digital DJ days is I would basically never make crates in DJ software. My crates would be actual folders on my computer. That way I could always be sure that if I just open those folders, copy those folders to a different computer, that my crates would still be the same because I'm just importing the same folders into the DJ software on any computer. So for me, that was the easier way to go. Chad says, leave the crates on an external drive. I've never done that. I've never DJ'd off external drives, even though I've seen DJs do it. I'd rather have the least amount of extra USB devices connected to the computer because it depends on your setup, of course. Back in the SL1 days, I would have my SL1 connected to the computer. That takes up a USB port. And then I would have my Novation Dicers. They take up a USB spot. So depending on how many USB ports you have, I didn't want to have an external hard disk as well. But yeah, that depends on your setup, of course. So I'm not sure what the way to go about that is, but I believe that should be an easy find online, like just to see how you export your Serato library from Mac to Windows. I'm pretty sure there is an explanation for that. I use a USB hub with an external. See, here's the thing. I've had bad experiences in the past with USB hubs that certain USB devices seem to not accept being used through a hub, but they want to have direct connection to a computer. Now, this was a couple of years ago, I have to admit, or at least the computer I was using was a little bit older. But I remember when I was trying to use Phase and I was using, I don't know, I think probably my S9 or some mixer like that. And I remember I was using a computer that only had 2 USB ports. I had a USB hub, and one of the two, either Phase or the mixer, didn't really like it that it was connected through a hub. And this was a powered USB hub. And it didn't work then, but it did work when I connected it to a computer. But again, that is probably that older computer's fault. So if it works for you, then it works. Let's see. Chantal Jones, I see you. Salute. Welcome. And Mixmaster G in the building here as well. We got DJ Mimo from Miami tuned in as well. Chris on the mixes here. Also using external drives, whether I use Mac or Windows. I have the same crates. Yep. And let me scroll back up. DJ Kylo. And yeah, so for me, that's the easiest way. Mixmaster G, maybe you know, but I know your Mac not on Windows. The question was the transferring the Serato library tags, crates, and everything from a Windows to a Mac computer. And I believe you can just take there's a way to export that library, Serato library file, but I haven't done that before. I just have all my crates as actual folders, so I'm not sure. Let's see. Ecstadius says, do you consider we are not accomplished as a DJ if we do not scratch? No. Slide that right out the way. No, scratching is a great extra skill to have. It is something, if you have it in your toolbox, it's great. If you don't because you're not into scratching, then you just don't. That's not going to make you a good DJ or just a less good DJ. You mix electro, drum code, minimal techno. So, I mean, scratching is not as common there. Now, I would say if you do have some basic scratching skills and you add them to your electro and techno set, it does add something extra. So for me, scratching is all about fun. I just enjoy doing it, love doing it. But I would never say that a DJ who doesn't scratch isn't a real DJ. And at the end of the day, also for me personally, I would not care what other DJs consider me to be. Now, I would love if, for instance, I do a certain technique and there's a DJ who's very skilled at that technique can offer me his or her evaluation. Of course, if that can help me improve my skills, then I would love to hear it. But by being rated by other DJs, I could really care less. I'm not in this for other DJs. So, no. I mean, scratching is just fun. I love doing it. And I think in certain situations, it could set you apart from other DJs. Let's say if you're in your scene, other DJs do not scratch at all. And you, even if it's every now and then, you're in the middle of a techno set, and all of a sudden you bring that next track in through a scratch. That crowd doesn't hear that a lot, so it does bring something extra. Just a little sprinkle of extra flavor to it. My opinion. Chris Ramdio Noreen says, new to DJing. What kind of laptop can I get to run my Serato? What are the specs on Windows? Well, you can go to Serato.com and they will have the minimum specs listed. And they'll most likely have minimum specs listed and recommended. Any computer with a with even like a medium up to higher tier processor will do just fine. And probably they'll say that it'll probably run on either 4 or 8 gigs of RAM. I would say get 16 gigs of RAM at least, then you're totally safe. DJ software is not that, it's not that hard on the computer. But just check Serato. They'll have that listed for sure. Let's see. You can drag your crate one by one in a new folder, and it creates copies of the songs. Laurent Metro says, yeah. That I think that could also be a way to do it. But let's see. If you export to an exFAT formatted drive, you can do that just fine. Serato stores the information about the crates on the drive where the tracks are stored. So tracks to an external hard drive has the crates on an external. Cues, loops, grids are stored in the audio files media tags, so it's easier to move over. Yes. Kirk Thompson, salute. Ephraim, is it Ephraim or Ephraim? But salute to you. You know I'm talking to you. So yeah, like I said, I don't have experience like exporting from Mac to Windows, even though I've used both over the years. But because I was always using folders that were already on my computer, I never really noticed that. I never had to like export libraries. I would just, all my music folders, if I have a new computer, all my music folders are copied to the computer, the DJ music folders, and then I import them into all of the DJ software, and then it just works. And let's see. And indeed, because if you make your cue points, set cue points in Serato on that computer, and the music is stored on that computer in those folders, then everything is stored in those files as well. So when I take those folders to another computer, then my cue points and everything is there as well. Just want to make sure I didn't miss something in the beginning. No, I think that looks okay. Just making sure. And for someone who was asking me on Monday, because Monday I was doing my crate stream without Mixcloud, and I don't have Mixcloud added here today either. Mixcloud will come back. I just have to fix my subscription there before I can stream to it again. And yeah, unfortunately, I wish Mixcloud would have been better and bigger. It's not like I really miss it. Like when I'm doing my Monday music streams, most of the people watching are watching on Twitch, not on Mixcloud. Yeah, man, that is I don't want to say sad story, but I mean, it should have been better right now, and it's still not. Wait, my sandwich, salute. Yeah, you were here on Monday as well. Dennis Hopper in the building, salute. And let's see. Out where you at, do you experience DJs hating on each other? Near me, it's like crabs in a bucket, putting each other down, not uplifting like it should be. You know, I think it's like that basically everywhere. I mean, do I notice it? I don't notice it a lot, but I know it happens. I know it happens. So I don't hear a lot of the chatter. Let me just fix this real quick. I hear the chatter sometimes, but I know it happens more often. I've seen it happen. DJs go behind your back, try to take a spot like you have, or trying to make sure you don't get booked at a place again because they're worried you'll take their spot, stuff like that. I think it happens everywhere. I think it is also just unfortunate, and that's not just in the DJ scene, but everywhere, that a lot of people feel the only way they can either just feel better or be better is by putting other people down instead of just building themselves up. So yeah, I mean, it happens, but it hasn't affected me in a major way because throughout my career, I never depended on too many people. Did a lot myself or with other people, and we built a lot of what we did ourselves. But it happens for sure. Anyone ever had issues with AMD CPUs? Rekordbox recommends Intel as far as I remember. I'm running on AMD here when I do my weekly streams. Serato has no issues with it, and I haven't had Rekordbox issues that I can recall either. So it's working fine for me. Ranajit says, I tried Lexicon for music library management. It exports out to Serato Record Box and Engine DJ. It's subscription based, but it's free now because it's in beta version. Lexicon. No, I haven't tried that before. Hey, DJ Reese, what's up? I heard good things about the XMG DJ15 laptop. Looks like a nice laptop for Windows-based DJs. Yes, I've heard the same things. I've been in contact with XMG for a while now, and hopefully I'll be trying out some of their stuff in the future. But yeah, all the DJs that tried out that DJ15 had a lot of good to say about it. XMG makes a little bit of a different approach. They have a different approach. They really try to optimize the computers, certain computers from their lineup for DJs, producers, and seem to work well. Earl Whiff, I see you. Megawatt says, let me find out you on that Sage or Santos. Nah, man, this is just incense. I don't even know. I see. I mean, no Kyrie Irving here with Sage around this, the court and everything. This was incense, and just for the smell of it. No other reasons at all. Mario Post Melanin, that is awful. What, you're talking about the crabs in the bucket and the hating? DJ Z says, can you please make a sound effect with my name? A sound effect with your name? I have to assume you're talking about a DJ drop and not a sound effect. But I might be off there. Yeah, Earl, I mean, the thing is, I mean, now it's actually really a wall again. Like normally when the vinyl is still in there, normally it just looks like just how you would see your vinyl stored. This is how I used to do it. And yeah, I felt like getting back to this look, it adds more of a vibe like this. So yeah, I'm loving it too. I'll be switching it out a lot. Now on Monday, I'll have an all vinyl stream again. So I'll have to take them all out and just try to switch it up. I mean, record covers are something special, you know. I mean, when you come from that era and you have a lot of emotions attached to a lot of those covers. And yeah, it's a vibe. It's a vibe for sure. Tomcat Meow in the building. Let's see. DJ A Coetic in the building. Salute. Wesley Thomas says, what's your favorite record pool? I honestly don't really have a favorite. I use DJ City, but that's also because that's my fam. I work with them. I use Beat Source most of the time, but that's not a record pool. So besides DJ City, I really liked Beat Junkies, and I've used other record pools. To me, it didn't make sense for me to join too many at the same time because there's too much going on. Why is my camera doing that? Oh, no, okay, that's okay. I don't have time to like keep track of everything. So one pool right now is enough for me, and that's DJ City. And I use it from time to time. Like most of the times that I'm DJing now, I'm using Beat Source or I'm using my own files. Okay, so Chantal, you're only on, Chantal Chani, that is. You're only on vinyl right now? Tune in on Monday. On Monday, on Twitch, I'll be doing an all vinyl set. Ivan, what up? Would you have a recommendation about an additional music tool to use with a DJ controller? I'm on a Denon MC7000. Something you think really fun or good to use next to a controller while mixing? No, not really. To be honest, yeah, I have to say not really. I mean, especially with a controller like that, you pretty much have everything on board that you need. You have your performance pads, you have effects that you can trigger from your software. So unless you have very specific needs, I couldn't say, like, for me personally, I mean, I'm not a big bells and whistles guy. When I'm DJing, so I don't really actually have time for extra equipment. And what could be fun for one would totally not be interesting for someone else, like adding an extra, like, drum computer to have extra beats and extra samples. I mean, some people might enjoy that. Other people might be like, I'm never touching that. So yeah, I'm not sure. DJ Matrix says, what advice would you give to a DJ going as a club DJ? Equipment wise, I know most clubs use Pioneer. I'm from the Denon era and use Denon till this day. I do plan on going as club DJ. My advice would be, make sure you at least know how the Pioneer stuff works. And if possible, you can always try, when you have gigs, you can always see if there's an option to bring and use your own gear. In some situations, it's possible. With clubs, it can be difficult. Clubs can have like built-in DJ booth, or that they don't want to have extra stuff in there because they have 10 DJs playing that night. So being able to use different gear is always a plus. Like, CDJs have never been my main tool, but I made sure I knew how to use them because I knew there would be gigs where it would be way easier for everyone involved if I could do the gig on the CDJ. Even though I want some turntables, Serato, you name it. And a lot of shows I do with Brainpower, if we have a 30-minute show and I'm basically just doing cuts in the songs, and for the rest of the show, I'll be doing backing vocals from in the booth or front of the stage, I used to bring turntables, the whole nine, had to set everything up in a separate booth because it's mostly in clubs. They already have their own setup. It made no sense. So now I come in with a flash drive and headphones, and then I'm good to go for that show. Now, if I'm playing a 2-hour set as a DJ, probably 99% of the time I'll be playing on a turntable set because that's just in my rider. I need 2 turntables. I'll specify what kind of mixer I use, and if they can't get that mixer, I'll bring the mixer. I'm not even messing around with that. I'll make sure I'll have my S9 in my bag and set that up. But knowing how to use different equipment, that is the advice I would give you. So that if you can get a dope gig, but it has to be on their equipment, and let's say they have like a 2000 Nexus CDJ setup, you want to know how that works, you know? Otherwise, if it's like, no, I never want to play on that, just my own gear, you're probably going to be limited in your choices. You're not going to have a lot of gigs, or you have to organize your own with your own gear. But knowing how to use more gear is just, yeah, it's a plus. Do you provide DJ drops? If not, do you do it in the future? I mean, yeah, basically, yeah. My biggest problem is actually doing it. And, oh, damn it. I mean, I'm ashamed right now. Like, I've promised someone like a drop for over a year now, and I keep forgetting to do it. That's my biggest issue. But yeah, I have no problem doing drops. That is one thing. So you would have to at least just email me and make sure there's like a script. And when I say script, if there's like something that should be mentioned, which most likely will be your DJ name, and maybe it's like a mix show, or for some people a radio station, that info needs to be there. And how to pronounce names. There's actually something I was going to try in the settings, damn it. Because I noticed that there's a little delay between my mic and my cam. And I was going to fix that. Didn't do it. All right, next time. Oh, love scratching. How do you overcome being stuck doing the same patterns? I'm very, very, very guilty of that. I have go-to patterns, and I don't even plan to go there. Everything I do is freestyle, But I just notice, like, when I'm doing scratches, when I find a moment within like a live stream where I can do scratches, I'll just catch myself like repeating certain styles a lot. For me, I think the biggest issue is I do not plan out stuff. And when it comes from just feeling, you are more likely to go back to a comfort zone and do stuff that you just feel and know, instead of trying to. I don't feel like when I'm doing a live gig, that's not the place to experiment really. But I could give it some more thought, like, hey, I'm gonna do some scratches in a bit, and let me try to do a couple of these. But yeah, same thing with my Saturday sessions. I mean, that kind of forces me to do different patterns because I want this to be interesting for people who practice scratching, and I kind of do it there. So if you check my Saturday sessions videos, it's not like I'm doing the same patterns every week. Then it would make no sense if it was just the same pattern on a different beat. But you should force yourself to at least try new stuff while you're practicing. And if you don't practice, which is my biggest issue for that, I don't really practice, then you don't have time to do that. So you should actually make time to practice and work on some new patterns that you could then implement when you're doing scratches. So that's the answer for myself as well. If I want to just broaden it a little bit more, I need to find some time to just take 20 minutes, 30 minutes to do scratches a couple of times a week and force myself to not go to that familiar pattern, but do something different. Let's see. Mixmaster G had an answer for DJ Matrix. It all depends on what your base DJ software is. Engine Prime, Engine DJ, but you'll need to convert the record box to prepare the CDJ. Okay, yeah, that's for the Pioneer stuff. Will you be reviewing the Numark Mixstream Pro in the future? I own one, loving it. The Mixstream Pro is the standalone one, right? Because then the answer is yes. I should be receiving one to test in a couple of weeks. David Green, all good over here. Salute. Michael Briley, what's going on? Chris on the mix, yeah, I agree. Like record covers just give that vibe. And I mean, I have a ton of vinyl, so it's not that hard to find some covers. This was like literally this took me 5 minutes. I just went through a couple of the boxes right there and found enough covers to make this happen. RB says, I've been playing a lot with Tidal on Serato. Yeah, I mean, that also gives you access to a ton of music. I just prefer Beat Source just because, just because of the playlist that they have, but that is a nice addition. But also the fact that you have better options when it comes to searching. For instance, a couple of weeks ago when I did my Love edition during Valentine, I just went to Beat Source, typed love in the search box, got back like, I think, what was it again? So I had 100 results per page, and it gave me back like 11 or 1,300 pages. So an incredible amount. Now, on Tidal, you could also search for love. You probably get the same amount. But on Beat Source, I could then just filter and say, okay, only do hip-hop and R&B. And if I want to, only do between this and that BPM and search. You can't do that on Tidal. So that alone for DJs is a helpful tool. But yeah, if you're just looking for a lot of music, Tidal has all of that. Let's see. Old German people, what music like? Ivan, is that a question? I'm quiet right now, and you can't see, but I'm looking at my iPad. I'm reading through I'm going through the comments right now. So yeah, Z, you were also talking about a DJ drop. Got you. So yeah, I mean, I can't do that. So again, y'all have to mail me, tlm@djtlm.com, and let me know. Chantal, your mom is watching? That's dope. So hi, Mom. Y'all talking about cooking? Stop it, man. Y'all make me hungry. Let's see. Did you ever prefer taking your own equipment to the club instead of using theirs? So for mixers, I did, because a lot of times they didn't have my mixers. So let's just take it back. For my first, I don't know how many years, I played on whatever was in the club. In my beginning years, I didn't even know what a rider was or had a rider. So I would play on some, I don't want to say crappy equipment, because yes, it was working fine, but it was not really equipment for my style of playing. So for instance, in clubs here in the Netherlands, a lot of the clubs used to have mixers from a brand called Datek, and those were like this big. Most of them did not have crossfaders, and their channel faders were absurdly long. Coming from a background where you want to every now and then have doubles, do some backspinning, and you want to use a crossfader, yeah, it's a challenge. So I played on that. That's before Pioneer came on with their, I think the first one I played on from Pioneer was probably the DJM 500 and 600, those mixers. But before that was the Datek. Yeah. So I came up in that time, and then people at the club would be like, hey, DJ Jean was here yesterday. He had no problems with that. But yeah, like those were house DJs who played totally different. But yeah, at a certain point, I had my Vestax mixers, and I was bringing my Vestax mixers. Clubs here were pretty okay with it. Most places I was playing at then actually would always have to set up the DJ booth. That helps. So if you're in a club and they have a DJ booth and they have the equipment built in, and a lot of them used to have that, not as much now anymore, where they would have like a wooden board with holes that were made perfectly for their equipment. So if I came in with a different mixer, that just didn't work. But a lot of the venues I played at would have like stages, and they would build the DJ booth, and then they could have turntables, and I could bring a mixer and make that work. So that's okay. And at a certain point, when I started to play digitally and started to use stuff like my S9, or before that, my 909, I was just bringing my mixer. Like most clubs didn't have a 909. So I would check with my rider, but I would always contact them to make sure, like, hey, did you have the mixer? The turntables, I didn't worry. Like, I had them on my rider. They would be there. And even though sometimes they didn't work well, nowadays with phase, that wouldn't be an issue. Back then it was. But yeah, I would bring my 909, and after that, just bring my S9. So I prefer not to bring my own equipment. In some cases, I know it's better to bring my own equipment. So if you're already familiar with a club and you know, let's say you play on turntables and you know their turntables are just messed up, either I'm not accepting the gig or I'm bringing turntables. But if I don't have to, I'd rather not. I need a drink. Something is dry in there. Congrats, Patrick. Thank you. Congrats on the cool visual look. Love it. Picking up DJing again. I need a solid excuse to update my 10-year-old Pioneer DDJ S1 controller. It still works. Hey, but if it still works, maybe that's all you need. But then again, newer controllers do offer more functionality for sure. So, Mariposa Melanin, I mean, trusting your own equipment more, yes, most likely. But if you're playing in clubs, like respectable clubs do take care of their equipment. And in most cases, you can depend on their gear. Now, for me, I did go through like a whole period wherein I was playing on turntables with DVS with like Serato in the Serato Scratch Live times, when most DJs here actually switched to CDJs. And I did at that point run into a lot of issues that I would go to clubs, and it was a pretty clear, like I was the only DJ in the last 2-3 years that was still using turntables. So they had turntables, but you could tell like those turntables had been like in some basement for the last couple of years, and they were not in great condition. So there was a point where I didn't really trust club equipment for a while. Before that, it was always fine. All the clubs had turntables. The most of the time they would be fine. They would be serviced, you name it. Then there was that period when that didn't happen. Now here, overall, yes, I will trust their equipment. But like I said, I bring my mixer most of the time because I know they don't have those mixers. But if you don't have problems bringing your own equipment, you can do it. But you have to make sure that venues actually give you the option to bring and set up your own gear. DJing has me too involved in DJing to be doing other things. I'm a more open format DJ, so my brain power is focused there. So I maybe this is in a reply to having extras there, because yes, in that way I'm kind of the same. I don't do too much extra because I'm already DJing and focusing on that. In my case, it's not because I'm an open format DJ in that sense, but I'm incorporating my turntablism. So whenever I have some time, I'm probably doing some tricks, having some fun. And then I don't really have time to do more extra stuff. Let's see. It's kind of regional. In Holland, especially clubs, bars, we're used to the DJ booth being fully equipped. While in the US, it's much more common to bring your own gear. I think Mixmaster G has a great point there, because I am speaking mostly from a Dutch perspective here in the Netherlands, where a lot of places will have like everything you need is there. I'm willing to say most clubs I've played in here would have a CDJ set and would also have turntables. I haven't had it happen a lot that they did not have that for me. But it is very likely that in other places this might not be the case, and that they're actually expecting you to do that. So I can't really speak for how it is in other countries. That's for sure. Tito Morales, salute. Is it still a good choice to buy the DDJ 1000 or standalone? Yes and yes. The DDJ 1000 is still a great controller, for sure. And standalones have their place as well. So it kind of depends on what your style is. If you're more into just having a controller and your laptop, DDJ 1000 is a great option. If you're not really into the laptops, then standalones can be a great solution as well. Like I still have the RX3 here, and that's a dope device. You can actually use it as a controller as well, but in standalone mode, it's incredible. It's a dope device for sure. Kings Queens Entertainment, salute. Vinyl Touch, what up, what up? Henry, what it do, what it do? Depends on your situation. If you're playing Pioneer gear in the club, but you practice at home, a DDJ 1000 is fine. If you have gigs where you have to bring your own device, the RX3 is the way to go. All right, let me think. Do I agree with that? I mean, yes, of course. An RX3 is a great mobile option because you can just set it, power it, get the output connected, and then you're good to go. That being said, you don't need much more space when you're bringing in a 1000. You just need some space for a laptop. So I would say they are both great if you have to bring your own devices. That's not that much of a difference. So yeah. So I kind of half agree, but I have to add on that the DDJ 1000 can also be easily used as a mobile device. So I think, again, that's not the issue. I think it depends more on your style of play. If you prefer to use a laptop, then a 1000 is a great way to go. So for me personally, let me just always reflect on my own experience and opinion here. I like both devices if I'm taking a 1000 and an RX3 in this case. The RX3 has a little bit more to offer because you can use it in a standalone mode. It works great. And you can also use it as a controller. I prefer the feel of the 1000, and I'm a feel DJ. I need to have the stuff that I prefer to play with, which feels right for me. I really enjoyed the jog wheels on the 1000, so that will be a hard decision for me to make. If the RX3 would have the 1000 jog wheels, the same jog wheels, I would pick the RX3 every time because, like I said, I could also use it as a controller with a laptop, but I love the standalone mode. But if I'm using both, the jogs on the RX3 are fine, but I prefer the ones on the 1000. But for some, that is less important. So that all depends on what you prefer. For me, jog wheels are an important decision, a make or break part of the whole deal. I've used controllers that had great functionality, but the jog wheels were just okay. And in some cases, this sounds weird. If you remember, when Pioneer came out with their SZ, or as the British people would say, the SZ. When that first SZ came out, that was like their flagship beast. Super large, a lot of functionality, but it had those capacitive touch jog wheels. I felt more comfortable scratching on the freaking SB, the SB, than the SZ. Even though the SZ is a much better controller. Like, of course, if I had to do a full gig, I would probably choose that SZ just because it has so much functionality. It is like full size. But when I had to do like a Saturday sessions, I preferred the one I did on the SB over the one I did on the SZ. That's a feeling thing. And the SB is like a basic entry-level thing with a small jog wheel, but somehow that feeling was better than the capacitive touch. So that's just to illustrate like how important feeling is for me. Let's see. Kings and Queens, salute fam. Don't come too close. I got the COVID. Nothing serious though. Oh, Mixmaster G, you're there. You're there now. Yeah, bro. This is the right timing for it though, bro. Yeah. Or maybe did you say that last week? Maybe you already said that. But yeah, this is the right time because the Omicron is like the mildest version. So yeah, most people will be pretty fine with that. I prefer to take my own equipment, yet the club is fully equipped, and I feel kind of silly because of it. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you go to venues and they have everything, and now you're bringing in the same gear that they have there, then you start to feel like, why did I now pack all of this extra stuff? And keep in mind, you're risking your own equipment by moving it, bringing it to a public location, people, drinks, whatever. And yes, maybe you have great insurance, but still, then you have to go through the hassle of getting stuff fixed. You're risking your own equipment every time you move it. I've damaged all of my mixers, even though it's just like superficial, like damage, nothing serious. But because I've had it in bags and they would bump into stuff, that wouldn't happen if I just leave it at home. So anytime you bring your equipment, you are risking it. So if you're risking it to take it to a place where they have everything, you can start to feel a little bit silly for sure. Ray Hammer Time, I appreciate that follow. John Colbert, I see you. Salute. Matrix, you have the delay on the mic. Is my situation here? I'm gonna fix that after this stream. I wanted to take a look at it before I began, but yeah. Yes, Mariposa Melanin. Yes, we're talking about practice. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Even if you do it in the AI voice, we talking about practice. Nah, but it is a fact though. Like at a certain point as DJs, you're not really practicing. You get your hours in when you're in the club, but the danger is that you will just go into your comfort zone. Like most DJs won't use the gigs to experiment. I mean, I'm not going to use the club gig as a scratch practice session to try out the new scratches, you know? So, yeah, sometimes that practice is necessary. Here in Switzerland, clubs usually are equipped. However, I worry that mid-set the club's equipment would break on me. Well, it depends. I mean, if they have the same equipment you have, if you trust your equipment and they have the same equipment, then you shouldn't worry. Now, of course, their equipment might be used more than yours, but if the club is a little bit like pro, they should be servicing their gear. All right, Ray Hammer Time, I appreciate that. Salute to you in Sweden. Again, Ephraim, I've been to Switzerland as well. And I've played in Sweden a bunch of times, but that's years ago already. Oh, for real? Mixmaster G? You on the Jägermeister tip? DJ Oneness, I see you. Appreciate that follow. David Green says, if you've answered this, I apologize. Have you seen the new course of Jazzy Jeff? No, I mean, yes, I know he has a course. They've released a course through Digital DJ Tips, but I mean, I haven't seen the course. No. So I can't really say anything about it. I mean, it's Jazzy Jeff, so I have to assume there's going to be some great content in there. And from what I've seen from Jeff, I'm pretty sure he knows how to explain stuff, but I haven't seen anything. But salute to Jeff, and of course salute to Phil out there, Digital DJ Tips, making moves like that. Courses with Jeff, with Angelo, with Layback Luke, a lot of different stuff on there. Someone left a comment today. I was going to answer that on YouTube. That was about courses. I'm not sure if he also mentioned Jeff. Let me just quickly see what he was saying. Wait, here it is. When I first started DJing as a teenager, it was you, Ella Skins, Red Bull 3-star guys like Trey's, and now DJing is like pickup artists selling secret technique lessons for 300, 400 euros. I believe it's very predatory and detrimental for beginners. Okay, yeah, no, so it wasn't mentioning that. Funny thing is, I understand part of what is said here. It's kind of been, now I don't want to say my issue, but every time I see it, I don't really feel it. It's not my thing, and that is how some DJs and some courses are presented and communicated. As soon as people start to talk about sharing the secrets, I always get that little, I don't know, I always get that little salesy aftertaste in my mouth. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. To me, that's not what it's supposed to be about. It's not about secrets. And I mean, it's used in all sorts of fields when they sell courses. They always try to wheel people in by making them feel like, hey, we know something that you don't, and this will make you rich or make you a pro DJ. These are the secrets. So, yeah. But then again, like, I know there's a lot of good courses out there as well. And at the end of this year, I should be releasing my course, but that's really going to be aimed at beginner DJs. And the one thing I really want to communicate clearly when I release that is exactly what the course is. And I can tell you right now, that course won't be about some secrets, because to me, there are no secrets. There are the fundamentals that you need to start to build that strong foundation. That is where it all begins. And from there, you have different DJs who've added different stuff to that foundation to create their own style and way of playing. But even then, those aren't really secrets. But I think there's a place for a lot of courses, though, because everyone will explain things in a different way. And you might hear something 5, 10, 15 times, and then someone will say the exact same thing, but somehow when that person says it, it clicks. I know I've had that same thing with my counting music tutorial on YouTube. So many of the comments are from people who've told me like, hey, I've seen so many videos, but this one made me understand. So they've seen other content, and I've seen some other videos, and a lot of people who watch those videos did get it. So that's why I think it's great to see different DJs like drop courses, even though some of those courses are really aimed more at DJs who want to expand from the foundation, and mine is going to be really aimed at the beginner DJs. All right, what's better? Keep your music library on the computer's hard drive or an external hard drive? I don't know what's better. I just know I want to have my music, my DJ music on my computer. I prefer that, but I've seen a lot of DJs in the chat today who use an external drive, and that works for them as well. Beat Source is really good for that playlist stuff. Yeah. And exactly, Mixmaster G, I'm with you on this one. Like, it's in the club's best interest to keep their equipment in perfect shape. That's also why most clubs don't allow you to hook up your own stuff other than through an aux cable. Yeah. Because it's not good for the club if DJs, especially if the DJ is a bigger DJ, would have an issue during his set due to their equipment, because then the DJ will start to spread the word about, hey, man, I was playing at that club and their gear is shit. That's not good. Clubs don't want that either. Let's see. Speakers. Concerning PA active speakers, like for 50 to 100 people, private party. Did you get the opportunity to test and listen to DB Technology stuff? Like B-Hype 15. I'm already shaking my head. I have no knowledge when it comes to speakers. So no. But in the chat, has anyone tested the DB Technologies stuff, PA speakers? My analog DVS set is still based around the Dotec GPM8 with those very long up faders and no crossfader. Man, woo! Yo, when I'm coming over, I need to check that mixer. I mean, wow. Yeah, man. I can't complain. I think it's a great learning school for me to have played on all sorts of mixers. And at that time, when you're just starting out, not having the choice, just you have to play on whatever's there. You learn to perform on different gear. But man, the Dotec, man, that really, really, really takes me back. Let's see. Caleb D, what's going on? I started DJing less than a month ago. My main interest is bringing my gear to the streets downtown to my city and just share music. Any advice for outdoors? That depends. That's a pretty broad question. Like, what type of advice are you looking for? By the way, I'm actually using control vinyl with actual turntables. Okay. Wow. Advice for outdoors. No, not really. So, but wait, does that mean that you're bringing like an entire sound system just to the street to play music? So let me know that, Caleb. I see the first great tip actually from Megawatt. Make sure you have a canopy and an umbrella. True. You don't want to take your gear out and have it start raining, and that's going to be the end of your gear. So that's actually a very good tip. Let's see. What are your views on lesser embraced brands like Gemini? They honestly put out great stuff, but the marketing of bigger companies and DJs pledging allegiances to brands are the small guys realistically dead. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, Gemini is one of those brands that I don't know. It never really had a life here, I think. I remember seeing a lot of the old school heads from the US all had like Gemini mixers. I believe some people had them here, but I mean, it's not something I saw a lot. I mean, the marketing plays a part, I think. But besides that, it all depends on how good the stuff is. Like sometimes, why is my cable stuck? Sometimes what you call lesser embraced brands, they'll come out with something and it's just not good, and that could tarnish the name for a while. I mean, I've had this happen in the past with Reloop, for instance, years ago. I remember someone I knew was working for a distributor, and at a certain point, they were also doing Reloop. This is years ago, though. And at that point, they had a brand new turntable. And this representative like asked me, like, hey, you knew I had a gig somewhere? He was like, hey, can I bring this new turntable so you can play on those turntables? They're great. It's like, yeah, okay, sure. And they were terrible. I only sound checked with them, and then they were out. I mean, I switched the turntable straight away. The feeling was awful. It was just not good. And that kept me away from Reloop for a second. Now, of course, that has totally changed. So I don't know if older turntables were just not good, or if it was those specific turntables. But for me, they redeemed themselves with like that RP 7000 and 8000. And I'd used some controllers of theirs previously that were also actually really good, like the Beat Pad. I think it was called a Beat Pad 1 or 2, something like that, in another one. But sometimes you can have an experience with a brand that is not as not in your circle. Like for me, for instance, especially in my turntablism days, when it was all Vestax and Numark and Technics, of course, and there's some Pioneer mixers, and even Stanton was in there. And then you hear Reloop and you try it, and it's not good. Then you try to stay away from it. I mean, I've had this happen with Hercules. This is one of those brands like years ago. I've tried a controller later, which was actually a lot better. But then they had a controller also years ago, and it worked with Virtual DJ, and it was in a music store. I was like, okay, let me try it out, and just grabbed that controller. The jog wheel felt terrible, and it was really like the latency was like more than a second. Like I moved the jog wheel, and now the music moved. So that was like a minute of testing and thinking like, okay, this is why I don't see Hercules anywhere, and I need to stay away from this. So yeah, sometimes it could be just bad marketing, bad promo, not reaching out to the right people to test and maybe promote their brands. So are they dead? I don't know. Competing with the big boys in this case would probably be hard to like win terrain there. So first off, you need to have a good product. Like if you have a good product, there are a lot of DJs who are open to try stuff, I think, you know. But if it doesn't offer anything extra, I know a lot of DJs are afraid to step away from what they know. And that is because the other brands have worked on creating that brand, creating that name, that trust. Like I've had that happen with the Denon, with the SE5000. I've tried to talk to DJs about that mixer or a player, and some DJs who were used to Pioneer, they would just not give it a second. Even like for an event that was like a private event, like in a living room with like family and people, and one of the family members of that family was a DJ, and we were both going to be playing there. And I was like, hey, I just had the set for like a couple of months. Like I have these brand new Denons, these SE5000s. They're really dope. Why don't I bring them there? It's just like a family surrounding. And that DJ was still like, you know what? I'll arrange something and bring some CDJs. So for a lot of people, it's very frightening. They're afraid to try something if it's not one of their well-known brands. Is Monty in the chat? Did I just see Monty come by? Monty, what up, man? Yeah. What up? What else did I miss? See, I spent too much time talking and not looking. I think I missed people have added more. Chantal, I've been in the DJ game 28, 30 years. I mean, I had my first DJ set like 30 years ago. My first club gig was probably like 28 years ago. And yes, Monty is right, DJ Stoney. This is the pod mic. And in my case, it's actually not hooked up to the ATA Mini. In this case, it's just hooked up straight to the Rodecaster Pro here. And when I'm DJing, the pod mic is actually hooked up to my DJ mixer and then going into the ATA Mini. Have you played in Suriname? No, never. A couple of times people like approach me like, hey, do you want to play? But they would never come through. So I haven't played there yet, Chris. I'm going to scroll ahead. Yo, if I missed your question, just drop it again. You ever had the moment DJing on an S9 and then going to a 900? You ever had the moment DJing on S9 going to a 900? Mimo, I'm not sure I understand the question. I mean, I played with the S9 many times and also with the 900. I'm trying to understand the question. And I got distracted. I'm sorry. Through the chat. Nara Chim, what's up? I'll get back to that in a second. My opinion on the Rev 1, I haven't tested it properly. I have it here. I mean, it's up until now, it seems to be dope, but I don't want to really speak on it until I truly try it. That Rev 7 has been taking up all my time. I mean, I have it here for another week, so I'm just focusing more on that one. I'll have the Rev 1 here a little bit longer, so I will, at a certain point, like pay more attention to that. Every club uses Pioneer. What happened to Denon and the other brands? I mean, not every club, but most club. Pioneer has done a great job over the years of like expanding their brand. And for clubs, it is the same thing as I was just explaining about DJs. Like, people don't easily switch, and clubs are not all of a sudden going to switch or buy more equipment unless they have enough DJs who put that new mixer or player on their rider. So when enough DJs start to demand certain gear, then clubs might think like, hey, this is something we need to have in our inventory. Like, now we have like most clubs will have multiple sets just if something happens. So a lot of venues here, they'll have not 2 CDJs, they'll have at least 4. Some of the bigger venues here, they might have 8 or 10 because they have multiple rooms as well. But they're not going to buy a set of Denons if once a year a DJ asks for that. If that's the case, they'll most likely just rent it. And that's only if it's a big DJ. That was actually part of Denon's like promo. They had that tagline as well, like time. I think something like time to change your rider. And they actually had a bunch of the bigger DJs attached to that release. And those DJs then started to play on that. And I think the hope was that if enough of the big DJs start to ask for that equipment, that clubs feel like, hey, this is something we need to add to our inventory. We need to have this in the house because a lot of DJs use it. At the end of the day, I don't think enough DJs use it yet. So most of the clubs will still have Pioneer as the main setup. Now, maybe those clubs have it in the back, but it's not coming out unless they have a DJ playing who plays on that stuff. When you're playing live, when you're playing live, do you have the feeling that the equipment will fail? What is the most common fail? CDJs, mixer, turntables, amps. I actually don't. I don't have that fear. Sometimes something will happen. I mean, if you've been playing long enough, you've experienced most of the fails every now and then. I remember when I first switched from vinyl to digital, I started to use DVS. And in my case, and also for DJ Monty in the chat now, for instance, that was Final Scratch. And I remember for the first, I don't know how many months, I would still bring vinyl, even though I was playing with Final Scratch. And I think at a certain point, I know for Monty, he would bring CDs and then use Final Scratch, but have CDs as backup so we could always switch to the CDJs. But I hardly ever needed that. So at a certain point, I went back and I didn't bring like a full crate of vinyl. I would only bring a bag, and the bag would be filled with like 20 of those double album compilation records. And that was enough vinyl that I could play like a 2-hour set with hits. At a certain point, I didn't even bring that anymore because the stuff just works. Now, of course, every now and then, you're going to have something happen. That could happen anywhere. It could be a failure in the club where the power goes off. Have had that happen before. Wait a minute. Reese, I was not talking about the XZ. I was talking about the SZ. So that's the difference. And the SZ ones, those were capacitive touch. But no, I mean, I've had it happen with like a CDJ that you have when we were still using the CDJs with CDs, and your CD just got scratched, and then all of a sudden the track just starts to skip. That can happen. I've had a laptop overheat like once. That was a learning moment right there in a club, because at that time I wasn't placing it on like a monitor or a laptop stand, so it was just flat on the table, and it overheated, shut off. Luckily, during that set, I was playing with actually DJ Monty. He had a CDJ set there, so I just turned to him like, play something. He hit play, and the music started, so I had time to just like restart my laptop, lift it up, worked fine after that. I mean, something can happen, but I mean, I know I've seen the DJs who talk about how they bring like, they're bringing 2 laptops, 2 this, 2 that, extra everything. I mean, you can do it, but then again, the amount of times that I've had stuff happen, yeah, certain things is good if you can carry an extra. Like, I'll bring an extra USB cable. Like, if I get there and for whatever reason the USB cable has like an internal wire fracture, whatever you want to call it, I have an extra cable. But beyond that, nah. Let's see. Loving the DDJ 1000 SRT, dope controller. From the switch from the Numark V7 and the Tech 12s. Definitely happy over here. I keep turntables and the DDJ 1000 around. Never know when you can get tossed on either. I'm not reading the internal conversations that I see here between people. All right, the lounge I spin at has the Pioneer DDJ SZ as house equipment. I used it once, got the hang of it within half an hour, but I still prefer to bring my own equipment as well. It's a hassle, 2 turntables, S9, but I still feel I play my best with turntables. Now, in that case, I 1000% feel you. At the end of the day, you want to be able to do your best. And I mean, I know I can play on different equipment, but I also know that I can do better with certain equipment. I'm going to have my best sets if I have a turntable set with something like an S9. A Rev 7 comes pretty close. So if I have moving platters and a nice mixer, that will go a long way. I can do a set with CDJs, and it can be a cool set. It's not going to be as dope for me personally compared to like a turntable set. So I feel you. So I could definitely do a set on an SZ, but if I had the choice and if it wasn't like the biggest hassle in the world, I would bring my 2 turntables and an S9 as well. Yep. Vinyl Touch, I don't really have. I think I once did. I think I have 1 or 2. I think it's called like Beat Juggling for Beginners. I'm not 100% sure. I want to check, but yeah, you should check on my channel. Just go to the channel and just search for Beat Juggle. That should bring up something. But it is something I want to do more. Bars opening back up next week here. Excited to go out and try my Spot's new system. Been a while. Probably be dealing with a couple of live catastrophes. Going to be awesome. Yes. Bushnick Selector. Yes. Yeah, that's great. Good for you. And have fun. I mean, yeah, some things might go wrong, but yeah, still that feeling of being live again is super dope. Costa Rica, salute. Mixmaster G says, I'm with you on sharing the secrets 100%. That's why I do my tech AMAs 100% for free and full open kimono. Yeah, you know, it's just that little thing. And I understand it's a sales tactic, but I never feel that sales tactic. So it doesn't matter what it is, if it's DJing or something else. Like you know, all the ads where someone's going to do like that 5-minute video on Instagram where they're talking about how marketing is not working for you. And all these companies do it like this, but they don't know that there is another way to do it. Join this seminar and I'll teach you about the secret. And then you go and then they have a seminar, which will be probably like a webinar. And they don't really explain the secrets. They'll just give you a broad whatever. And then they try to sell you something. And with the DJing, it's the same thing. Like I've seen DJ courses being promoted in the past where they tell you like, not even an online course, but like a live DJ course here in the Netherlands, like 6 lessons and you'll be a pro DJ. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work like that. I mean, maybe in the 6 lessons you can teach someone the fundamentals well enough, maybe, but you're not going to be a great DJ in 6 lessons. It's not going to happen, you know. And the same thing with like the online courses where they're talking about secrets. Like the DJ fundamentals to become a good DJ, there's no secrets there. And actually all of the information is out there. The only reason why I would sell a course, why I would charge for something like that, it's not like I'm going to be offering that much more information than what I'm offering on my YouTube channel for free. The only difference is if I'm making a course, I'm going to create an actual curriculum. And it's going to be a structured curriculum where I have to plan that out and I have to write it, produce it, film it, edit it so that you have a nice package of lessons that follow each other with extra stuff in there. But it's not like there's going to be some secret sauce in the course. It's just that it's probably going to be a little bit more complete compared to the videos on YouTube. And if you go to my YouTube channel and you have 500 plus videos, and you have to go through those videos and pick information from each and every video, that's a little bit more comprehensive. It takes more work to do compared to having like a structured course made for it. But I would not be marketing anything like, hey, I know I have my videos on YouTube, but if you want to know the real secret to being a DJ, here's my course. That is BS. Yeah. But I don't want to go on a rant because there's more like that. I mean, there's certain DJs out there who have these super clickbaity type titles for their videos. And I mean, more power to them. I could just not do that. Pro DJ does blah, blah, blah. And the 5 things that make you whatever. I'm not going to go there. Damn it. I hate those blue letters. Crows, I see you. Salute. And yeah, so Ephraim and Nara, it's not only that, it's not only that it's worth the struggle to bring your own, it's also about you want to bring your A game. So if you know you're actually going to be better on this compared to what's there, that alone makes it worth it to do it. Chi-Town DJ Kiss, I see you. Salute. All right, Crows, I wanted to thank you in hopes I don't get banned. Ooh, okay. I just released a song, and I'm deciding if I should drop it in an album, but no one cannot give me an honest opinion. And if you work with music, you could really give me advice how I can improve, maybe. That sounds like you just want to have feedback on your song. Or am I crazy? So I think that sounds like you have a song and you want feedback on that song. Well, first off, it depends on what kind of music is it. Because there's a lot of music out there that I'm not even that familiar with, or where my opinion doesn't add a lot of value. So, Crows, let me know, what type of song are we talking about? David Green, I appreciate that. Thank you. And Chi-Town DJs, same. I appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words. What in your view makes a DJ style unique? I mean, I think it's going to be a combination of course, song selection and also the technique, I have to say, and the vibe a DJ radiates. Like certain DJs can be just more calm and mellow, and other DJs have a certain type of hypeness over them. And that is in no way saying that one is better than the other, but it does distinguish. Like there are different types of DJs when you watch DJs play. Song selection is key here as well. So even if you take 10 DJs that all play hip hop and R&B set, even if 90% of the set will be the same music, there's going to be that 10% where people are going to have just like a little different taste. And they might add that one song that makes you say, like, oh, wow. Haven't heard that in a long time, or I wasn't expecting that. And certain DJs have that they'll always like bring in a track that really just resonates with you more than what another DJ would do. That can set them apart. Then again, like I said, technique, little things in technique. The way they do transitions might just be a little bit different. If they add something extra, like a little bit of turntablism or however they do it. There's little things that can just be different. And in no way am I saying one is better than the other, because that's not the case. It's personal taste. Some people will prefer one DJ's way of playing over another. Some DJs have a style where they're not really focusing on mixing, and they really do a lot with the microphone. Others don't mix a lot, but they just are drop it on the one DJs, but they do it in a certain way. It's hard for me to explain that. Other DJs are really heavy on transitions and mixing. I mean, there's a lot of ways that people can be a little bit different. There's more if I continue to think about that. But unfortunately, I'm getting sucked in by these questions again. Let's say, Kylo. No, I've never tried Red Bull 3 style. I've given it thought. I think it was 2 years ago that I was really, really, really considering doing it. And then I was like, no. For the simple fact, I need way more time to work on routines before I feel I'm at a level that I could make Red Bull 3 style routines. A lot of the DJs who participate, I'm not saying all because I definitely don't know all DJs, but the DJs I know who participate are used to making routines, short routines that they use during their normal club sets. I don't do that, so I'm not in the routine flow. That helps a lot when you have to make something for a Red Bull 3 style. I'm not saying that I couldn't make a nice routine for Red Bull 3 style even without doing routines on a regular basis. I just know that's going to take me a really, really long time before I'll have something that would be worthy of even entering. And I just saw, like, I actually don't have the time for that. And normally I say time is not an excuse, but in this case, yeah, it definitely is, just because of prioritization. And if I look at what is important for me, Red Bull 3 style would not be high on that list. So there are other things that are taking up my time now that I feel are way more important. If I ever get to a point that everything in life is at a point that I feel like, hey, if I want to, I could actually spend the next couple of months just working on this, maybe then I would. I've recently enrolled in Rob Swift's Brolic Army DJ School. I can't figure out scratches on my own, so I figured what better way is there to learn from a pioneer like Rob Swift? Agreed. Yeah, man. I mean, Rob Swift is that guy for sure. And I know he has a lot of experience teaching. So I don't know. I mean, I haven't enrolled, so I haven't seen how it works in the school. But I know Rob Swift knows how to teach techniques. And he does it a lot, also in-person classes. So let us know how it goes. That would be interesting. Chantal Shini, I see you on Monday. If you, when did you say that? Oh, wow, I'm way behind again. So you're probably already gone, but thank you anyway. Big Buddy Knock, I see you. Darrell, what's going on? Have you ever had an issue with headphone cords, that have 3? Oh, I don't know what that means. Headphone cords having 3. Three lines? Ooh, could you elaborate? Let me know what that means. I actually don't know what that means. So let me know if you can. What does that mean? Costa Rica started back in the days with Radio Shack equipment. I believe back then their equipment was actually called Panasonic or a brand like that, just rebranded and sold at a lower pricing. Hey, I mean, my first equipment was super basic. Yeah. Super basic mixer, no crossfader, no real EQ, 2-channel. Anything works to get started, actually. If it is a mixer, if it has 2 channels and you can connect 2 turntables, I had 2 belt drive turntables. I mean, it worked for me. Started with Gemini PS924. I don't know that one either. I still have it. Get connected with 1200s, CDJs. Only thing I had to change has been the crossfader. Hey, okay, so you're still using that Gemini. That's dope. Still use a Radio Shack mic. Pair of headphones too. Hey, like I said, if it works, it works. And if you don't feel you need something different, I mean, it's so tempting with all of the gear that comes out. And I understand. I have the same thing. It's so tempting when you see a lot of gear. For me, it's not even the DJ gear because luckily I can get my hands on a lot. But for me, it's like audio equipment and camera equipment. There's always something new coming out, something new and shiny that catches your attention. But if you don't need something new, I mean, I upgrade every, I don't know how many years, just because financially I can't do it any sooner. And that's actually just a good thing. But then once you do upgrade, most of the times it is actually a substantial step and it's a real upgrade. Okay. Mixmaster G, I'm glad you mentioned that because, I mean, I know Radio Shack by name from hearing it in songs or movies, but we don't have Radio Shack, but that's great info. So we had Radio Shack stuff here under the Tandy brand and look very similar to the phonic or realistic mixers. I remember the realistics. I didn't know that. Caleb has a Maui 5-column PA, just bought to use as a speaker. Sounds fantastic. Just going to bring a table, the turntables, PA speakers, and the suggested canopy. Just because you want to share music with people. Yeah, I mean, I would say maybe as advice, because I've never done this before, but I do know in certain places, cities, there are like rules when it comes to making music outside. Like either you have to have like a license to be something like a street musician. So make sure that you're not standing in a place where you can actually get fined for playing music outside. So that is something I would look into, just because you don't want to have it cost you money. So I've never done it myself. I've never like taken DJ gear out to play for people. I've taken a portable turntable out to locations to just play, but that's just a turntable with like the internal speaker or using headphones and having fun just scratching by myself. So not as an actual performance for people. And do you have any tips for keeping gear safe? I mean, no, I'm not sure. Like that is the thing. Like you said, if you're going to need a break, it is somewhat of a risk if you're going, if you just go outside and you bring like gear. So you're bringing like speakers, a table, DJ gear. You're going to have to keep your eye on that gear the entire time. You can't go anywhere, or you have to bring people with you, like you said yourself. But like beyond that, I have no experience with it at all. Hey, Mojax in the building, or at least that was 25 minutes ago. Mojax, salute to you. Let's see. We got a half hour. I need to catch up, as always. Let's try to do that right now. I wanted to ask about a mixer. Wait, my sandwich says, do I need one for start with one turntable to learn some basic scratches? I watched some of your vids and just curious. Baby scratch, for example. Well, you're going to need a mixer because you need to connect your turntable to a mixer, because the mixer is the thing that is going to be connected to speakers. You can't really connect the turntable to speakers on its own. So yes, a mixer would be something that you want to include, even though you could practice a baby scratch just with a turntable as far as the movement. But if you want to hear what you're doing, you're going to need a mixer. DJ Reese with the bits. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And another one, Alexander. Someone else asked that as well. I can't really share my opinion about the Rev 1 because I've only used it for a Saturday session. I have not tested it to mix yet. I'll be doing that soon. I have one here. I just spent all my time working on that Rev 7. I mean, if you have a Rev 1 and a Rev 7 in the same building, yeah, that Rev 7 just keeps on calling. And I've been lucky to have it still. It's going to be out after next week, but hopefully I will get it back to play with it more. All right. Let's see. Durrell, once again, I want the explanation about the 3 lines with the chord because I don't know what that means. Mojax, Rev 7 went back. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I feel you. I'm already looking ahead, preparing myself mentally for having to give this back. DJ I says, how do DJs get gear sent to them to test out, like the Rev 7, for example? Well, how do you get the gear sent to you? I mean, the brands do want to have not just the feedback, but most of all the exposure. And if you are someone who can offer the exposure, that helps a lot. Now, anyone can make a video and put it on YouTube. So I'm not talking about just making a video. You would have to be someone who actually has a following, who follows you because they respect your opinion when it comes to equipment. So you would have to become somewhat of an authority within the industry. That takes time. So you would have to actually prove, first off, that you are knowledgeable, that you can create content that adds value so that people would actually want to watch it and appreciate what you have to say and show. And that takes time. Again, that takes time. So for someone like Mojax has been doing this for years and years. In my opinion, probably the best tech reviewer in our DJ world. I would say Mojax, hands down. Been doing it for years and years and years. First, I think the first thing was on his own Mojax channel on YouTube. I think he's done stuff way back for DJ Tech Tools. Now he's been doing it for DJ City, forever and for Beat Source now. So brands know, first off, if you let Mojax do it, he's going to have an opinion. It's going to be an unbiased like opinion, and he explains exactly why, and he is pretty thorough on his tests. So that's valuable for a brand, and people are watching. They're going to send one to Phil from Digital DJ Tips because a lot of people watch and listen to Phil. Built that up. Like Digital DJ Tips is big. It wasn't always big. They had to grow that. Cleveland Terry is another great example. Like he built that as well. Like he built that first on YouTube, started to grow there. Now through Twitch, he expanded that. A lot of people tune in because they discovered Cleveland Terry's channel, his content, like the way he talks about it, and want to hear it. I've been making videos on YouTube since 2009 for DJ TLM TV since 2011. At a certain point, people or brands discover your content and feel like, hey, we've seen your content. Would you like to try this out? You can start to reach out to brands as well. Like, hey, I make content. I would love to test your stuff. And sometimes that works as well. But that will only work if you can actually show them that you can create content that adds value and people tune in. So that will be the way to get gear sent to you. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it won't work. Sometimes you get gear sent to you. And if you're lucky, you can keep it. A lot of times you can't, and you have to send it back. Rev 7. But yeah, I've been blessed that I've had a long relationship with Pioneer here in the Netherlands since 2000, 2001, somewhere around there. So 20 plus years, and it's still the same person as well. So I was like the first person for them outside of the house DJ realm. So I was basically the hip hop guy, and that's why I was one of the first, like with the 909, to test that, because a lot of other DJs here would be more interested in their club mixer, and for me it was like, oh, you're doing a scratch mixer, and that relationship is still going. Yeah, so I think that answers your question. First gig after a software update is scary. Yeah. Yo, do not update software right before a gig. I've had it happen here a couple of times with live streams, like just minutes before my live stream, either like the laptop had to do an update, or OBS did an update, and I started my stream, and all of a sudden something didn't work. You want to do that update if you have at least a day or a couple of days, so you can, after the update, thoroughly check if everything is still working. That is very important. Okay, so Mixmaster G has a great sum up for DJI. Like, I did the entire story. So he says enough followers on social and be an influential voice. I mean, yeah, that covers what I said in one sentence. You're in the Netherlands, right? Have you ever spun at breaking competitions like IBE? No, not as the. I've done a performance with Brainpower at one of the events, but I've never DJ'd for them. Like they have DJs who do that, who've been doing it for a long time. And I'm ashamed that my bro's name is not coming up in my head right now, because we have a DJ here from Rotterdam who's been the DJ for all of those events here forever. Wow. Dude, I talked to him 2 days ago on IG. His name will come up in a second, but no, I've never done it. What was your experience like with the Reloop Elite? Did it provide good sound features, functions, reliability? I mean, reliability is hard for me to say because I've only used it in the studio a couple of times. It's not like I've traveled around with it. I mean, the last 2 years have been rough for testing stuff as far as like reliability and actually using it in the field. But yes, I mean, I have a Reloop Elite here. I like it. It has all of the functions and features you could want. I just prefer, and I say this every time, I just prefer the workflow on a Pioneer mixer. I love the paddles for the effects instead of like the fader on the Elite. But onboard effects are an important one for me. I really like my Pioneer onboard effects. But overall, I do live streams with it every now and then. I'll probably be using it in a couple of weeks again. And besides from just having to get used to the effects every time for a second, beyond that, I mean, it works great. Yes. Let's see. I always say I'm catching up, but then I'm not catching up. I see I have a lot of messages to go. What was your experience like on the Reloop Elite? Is that the second question or the same one? No, that's the same one. Sorry. Has anyone tried Jazzy Jeff's DJ class? Is it worth it? So if anyone has, drop it in the chat. We talked about it a little bit, but I haven't tried it. Yo, DJ Outcast in the building. Salute, bro. Salute. That was 20 minutes ago, so I don't know if you're still in the chat, but salute from Amsterdam all the way to St. Martin. Much love. Sparks the DJ, locked. Street Cat, I see you. DJ Cucini, I see you. Jeff is the man, but you're getting knowledge here for free. For the likes of me whose club has closed down thanks to COVID, I can't afford any expensive subs right now. Yeah, I understand. Like I said, I mean, there is a difference between the online content and courses, and it's not as much in the information because I think, yes, there's a lot of the information, most of the information, I don't want to say all, but let's say most of the information is available online for free. But when you get a course, you do have structured curriculum with everything in one place, which is more convenient and it's easier. You're actually following it step by step. But if that's not an option, I would tell anyone, like, if you don't have the money now, there's so much info online for sure. I don't know how much it is, but it's probably going to be something like, I don't know, something between 200 and 400. I don't know. Mike Harris, probably. Let's see. 297. Yeah, that could be a lot of always at 97. That's also like sometimes that's like a marketing thing. Like courses are always 97. There's a philosophy behind that. I'm not sure again what it is. I've read it one time. So instead of doing like, I understand that doing 299 instead of 300. I understand that because people see the 299 and it really feels cheaper than seeing 300. There was a philosophy behind doing 97, but and a lot of courses do that. 3 rings on the plug for the headphones. Okay, got you, because I was so into the cord part, like cord and the 3, and I didn't understand. 3 rings on the plug for stereo. So okay, now I understand. But if I don't remember the question. I think the question was if I ever had issues with it. I have to say no, not really. DJ Polo was good. Left 040. That's the best cam I've ever seen. Oh, you're talking about the video here. Well, this is basically overkill for streaming. Let that be said. This is my main studio camera. I was using the GoPros for streaming, basically for all my streams, just because they set up so easy. And I still use the GoPro as the overhead camera when I'm doing my music streams. But now this for me is the easiest because I'm using this camera. I've just used this for a YouTube video I recorded, and now I just moved on, set it aside to do the stream. But this is an S5, and that's super overkill for a stream like this. But the image quality is nice on it. That is for sure. Caleb, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And that's what today is all about. Every Wednesday, it's Q&A. So it's all about the questions and the answers. After I pay off Phase, I might invest in a Rev 7. Hopefully more gigs come my way in the future. I mean, it's a lovely device. That's all I can say. Rev 7 better than turntables? No. I mean, for me, it's no comparison. Same thing with like Rain 12s. They offer you a similar experience, but they're controllers. So I can't play vinyl on a Rev 7. So for that alone, the comparison is out the window. Now, does the Rev 7 give you that feel? Yes, in my opinion, it does. Even though it's a 7-inch platter and it's not like 12-inch like my normal turntables, it does give me that turntable feel, and that is what I truly enjoy. And I like the feeling more than I like the Rain 12, I have to say, even though the Rain 12 is that full-size device. But I have the first version of the Rain 12, and I still have that first acrylic platter. I need to buy some of the platters that came out later. They have a different feel because these are too slippery. But the Rev 7 has a great feel to it. And if I had the option to invest in one device that I would add to my setup, it would be a Rev 7. For me, I'm not saying that anyone needs that in their life, but for me, that would be the device. And any gig that I couldn't do on turntables, I would bring that Rev 7. Reza, off topic. Are you gonna do a mixtape? I don't know. I've lost count. I've done a lot of mixtapes. If you go to my Mixcloud, if you go to my SoundCloud, you can find my mixtapes. Also, like my live stream replays. Those are live mixes, but my mixtapes are on there as well. At the moment, I just don't have time for mixtapes because I have too much other stuff to do. Luckily, I have like live stream replays, so people still have material that they can find online. But I might do mixtapes again when I have more time. What genre of music do you foresee for this coming year? I guess the question is like, what would be the most popular thing? I have no clue. I absolutely have no clue at all. First off, it's really hard because I've had no club experience in the last 2 years. So I have no sense of like, hey, this is really happening in the clubs right now because we've not had anything happen in clubs right now. Chi-Town DJ Kiss says, I myself go looking for reviews by Mojax. Yep. Same here. Same here. Ham Sandwich, I appreciate that follow. Adam Steen, all good over here. What's good? All right. AMW says it opened at 197, went up to 297. Yep. I mean, that's also like what they do with a lot of courses. Like there's going to be, when it first releases, there's going to be an offer, and then it will go up to the normal price. That's just the way marketing just works. You want to have people like make them feel like, hey, you have a limited time to get it for this price. And I mean, it's $100 cheaper, and then it goes up. But still, it's that 97 price, so 297. And Chris on the mix, yeah, it makes it look cheaper. And I mean, they used to do that with 99, so 299 instead of 300. But for the last, I don't know how many years, I've seen all of the courses that are being sold, not just DJ courses, but all courses switch to that 97. That alone makes me want to be rebellious and come up with a different type of number when I release a course. Any tips for growth on Mixcloud? I just uploaded my first pop mixtape there. And what platform is best for uploading mixes according to you? Yeah, I mean it's the legal place to do it in the sense of you can upload your mixtape and have no issues compared to other platforms where there might be copyright issues. But look, you need to build up your online presence all over. So if you currently don't have an online following, then you can have a mix online and you can post that mix on your Facebook, on your like the link on your Facebook, on your Twitter. But if you have no following, then people aren't going to find it. So it's all about building up your online community. And that doesn't mean that you're just going to go around and hop into comment sections to post your link. That's not how it works. So I've seen people do that a lot, like randomly go into a comment section and just say, check out my track or check out my mix, and then a link. I doubt, maybe in the beginning that worked years ago, I doubt people click on that. Like, no one has time to click on something if they don't know what they're going to get. That doesn't happen anymore. People are really, I don't know if lazy is the right word, but they want to go straight to what they want to see. They're not just going to click on something that they have no idea what it's going to be. You're going to have to actually build up fan base, might not even be the right word, but actually become part of the community. So you have to build an online presence where you have people who watch your content online, who know to find your profile, who check your profile, and then post links. So it's rough. It's not easy. I mean, we all have access to all these online tools, and that's great, but those tools alone are not going to do it. They're just tools that you can use when you have a following. Just a different example, but for myself, for instance, even on Twitch, I started on Twitch. I made my account a couple of years ago, didn't use it the first couple of years, but I came to Twitch with my live stream a year and a half ago, whatever it was, and I had a substantial following on certain other platforms. Even that didn't all of a sudden grow my Twitch. It's not like I posted that link and all of a sudden all that following came over, because people also have issues with switching platforms and going to different places. They don't like to do that. My chair is failing me again. So I see that a lot, even with my live stream on Monday where I do my mix stream only on Twitch, and Mixcloud will be back, but Twitch and Twitter. Anytime I go on YouTube before I go live on Twitch, I have to convince people on YouTube to come check me on Twitch. And some will, but for a lot of people, even that, when they're already on YouTube, they're like, and I don't want to also go to Twitch and make a Twitch account. Same thing with Mixcloud. Like, I don't want to go check somewhere I don't know. So it's not easy to get people to come to a platform if they're not already using that platform. But yeah, you have to grow your overall presence online. What advice would you give a DJ looking to throw their own party on a smaller budget? Start small. That is one of the things. If you're starting your own parties, start small. And that could be like really small in a bar that might only fit 50 people. Even if it's just that, start small. Where you can invite your own friends and have it basically packed before you even get a single random person walking in. That's your starting point. Now we're living in the social media era. That wasn't the case when I started to do like own events. Now you make sure you take plenty of pictures, video footage that shows that you have a party going on and it's packed. Even if it's small, it's packed. Do it small for a couple of times. If you can tell like, hey, now it's really all the way packed up every time and I can fit more, then you find a place that's a little bit bigger. So don't go from a venue that takes 50 and go to a venue that takes 500. That's going to be an issue. But find something that can fit 100 or maybe 150. But start small. That's what I would do. All right, let me see. Mixmaster G has a suggestion. Complete course to vinyl DJing for US 103.66. Just a suggestion. However, that could still be advertised as 96 euros. All right, I'll take that into consideration. Tyson, what's going on? Over the last year, I've gotten into DJing with vinyl. I would like to start doing gigs with vinyl. Do you think there is a market for vinyl DJs? I think that's not the question to ask. You shouldn't even, let me rephrase. You want to get booked as a DJ and getting bookings is what you should be focusing on then. I mean, yeah, I had something in my mind and it kind of slipped in the middle of my sentence. But I mean, if you play with vinyl or with CDs or digitally, I mean, that is not the thing that's gonna get you more gigs unless you're really known as like a vinyl DJ and there's a specific crowd that is into vinyl. So a market for vinyl DJs. I mean, if you're a dope DJ, you're a dope DJ, and it doesn't matter if you play on a controller, on CDJs, or on vinyl. It's not like in most cases that people are promoted on a flyer as playing on vinyl. So yeah, let me rephrase. Like a regular club crowd could care less what the DJ is playing on. They're just there to hear the music and drink and socialize. They couldn't care less if someone's on an iPad. That's not why they came to the club, unless you're doing a specific event and the whole event is based around like vinyl DJs and there's a crowd there that really appreciates that. They want to see vinyl and crates and turntables. But beyond that, that's not what the market is focused on. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, let me see. Mixmaster G says there sure is on various levels. The most popular I see around me lately is guys with 2 turntables and a mixer plus huge amounts of crates, allowing the audience to select records from the crates they like to hear. Mixing is optional. I know who you're talking about. I've seen them at an event that I was at, like I think a year or 3 ago or 2 ago. We did a performance there. After that, they came on and they had turntables and they had like, indeed, they had like crates of vinyl and people could request. So, and not in a negative way, but then it's like really that's the whole gimmick. So they're actually marketing it as that. So in that case, then you are marketing it as this is what we do. What I was saying, like normally, like if we're talking about a regular club, then people aren't coming in because the DJ is playing on whatever they're playing on. But yes, so if it's really focused around that, that could be something indeed. I forgot their name. Do you know their name? You remember their name, Mixmaster G? Just to see if it's the same people. I think if I see the name, I know if it's them. And wow, I can't believe it. It's exactly 10 and I'm totally caught up because it's the end of my stream, basically. That's what I was thinking. I know people at parties don't care. I'm just trying to see if there's a crowd that would care. That's the response. So yeah, as Mixmaster G was also explaining, like I said and like he said, if you combine that, like a normal crowd wouldn't care, but you could actually create something that could be marketed. Like, but it depends. Like their thing is like a gimmick. Again, I don't mean it in a negative way, but it is a gimmick. Like, hey, they come with crates of vinyl and you can select whatever you want to hear. Like for me personally, I wouldn't want to play like that because if I come to play, I want to read the crowd and play according to what I feel should be played. And what they're doing is really just being in-person request line. So, and that is marketable to a degree. Yeah. Mick P, salute to you. Sydney, Australia in the building. So yeah, the Mixmaster G, I've seen one of those crews. I remember we with Brain Power, we did a show at a festival in somewhere around Utrecht. And after we were done, they came on. And it looked like a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And the music went all over the place because people just walked up. They could take something from the crate and give it to the DJs, and then they would play that next. Mixing wasn't the most important thing, indeed. It was more like just bringing it in. But you have to, as the DJ, be open to doing that. So for me, it wouldn't be the thing to do. And for me personally, that's why I like doing this. And Tyson, I would say what you could do for starters is what I do once a month. Like I have my weekly mix stream on Mondays. Once a month, that's coming Monday. Once a month, the last Monday of the month, I do an all vinyl set. So then you're playing with vinyl if you stream that but also record that, then you have footage of yourself that you can spread around, because maybe some people will catch on. And some people do really like seeing DJs that play on vinyl. Some people add a lot of value to it. Way too much in my opinion, but some people really still feel that way. Like, oh, that's how a DJ should play, with vinyl. So if that's your thing, you should take advantage of that and really promote it as well. Like, hey, this is how I play. And live streaming, you don't need to be booked to live stream. So you can just do that. You can start to do that. Oh, new questions. I was caught up. All right, I'm going to answer these before I get out of here. Is there a streaming service that offers the ability to have a private room for virtual DJ streams, password protected with the sound quality of Twitch, etc.? Great question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I read somewhere that there's a way to do this, I think, even on something like Twitch, but I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. But there's a way to do that for sure. Reese says times have changed. I've seen a wedding DJ play for a wedding without a controller and just use a Numark mixer without jogs, turntable, or controller. He uses the auto mix feature and virtual DJ in a playlist. Seeing that just killed me. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. For the simple fact that if someone is willing to book a DJ like that to play, then that's not a place that I'll be playing anyway. Yeah, I couldn't imagine having an event of my own and booking someone to play that way. But hey, if it works for them, it works for them. All right, real quick. Narachim with a longer one here, just commenting off topics from other questions. You'll most likely be talking about something else by the time you see my comment. For the person who asked about spinning at clubs in vinyl, I'd say whatever venue that books you, see if you can bring your own equipment and bring your vinyl. The question is, are you willing to lug your heavy cases? I'm thinking about bringing a crate of vinyl just to confuse people who annoyingly request songs. And I'll just point to the crate of vinyl. That's a good one. So when people walk up with requests, you're just like, yo, I have my crate here. I'm sorry, I don't have it. And you're just spinning off your laptop. That's dope. Are you looking forward to things opening up and getting back out there and rocking the party? That would be nice, indeed. I have some bookings, but those are still a couple of months away. So I think this time, for the first time, we are in a situation here that I can expect that those bookings most likely will happen. In the last 2 years, we've had it happen 2 times that we came out of a lockdown. They immediately opened everything up, which was not the smart thing to do. I started getting bookings for the coming months, and before I got to the bookings, we were locked down again and everything got canceled. They did that twice. This time, I do feel it's a little bit different. I mean, between the amount of people that are vaccinated and the Omicron version just being a lighter version, they decided like, hey, this time it's time to open up. And a lot of people might get it, but they'll get that light version and be okay after that. I caught the Omicron, and for me, it was definitely not more than just a runny nose. So yeah, I have hopes that in this case, everything can continue and that we're still open by the time I get to my bookings. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Smooth D, salute. Big V, what's good, man? And so, DJ Booters, maybe that was Patreon. I'm not sure. I mean, they do offer something like that, but I'm not sure if you do it on Patreon or if you still have to use a different service for that. Not sure about that. Ephraim, my pleasure. Kujini, my pleasure, for sure. And every Wednesday, we're here every Wednesday. DJ Business, salute to you. And Luke Mix from Haiti, I see you. So appreciate all of you. John Willard in the building. Try to never miss an episode. So busy with the kids. Yeah, man. And by the way, for people who tune in late, who missed it, and if you still want to catch what we talked about here today, these are always on replay. So you can watch all the replays on YouTube and check them there. But as always, I'm here every Wednesday, and I'll be back on Monday with my mix. And this Monday is an all vinyl stream. Last question. If you could only pick one, would you get a better laptop or a better DJ controller? If I could pick only one. Well, in my case, the answer is a better laptop because I currently don't have a laptop. So that would be my answer. If I had a good laptop right now, I would buy a Rev 7. That's it. To each and every one of you in the chat and to all the lurkers out there just tuning in and watching and listening, salute to all of you. Thank you for tuning in. Mixmaster G, my thanks go out to you for all of the great input as always. And yes, I wanted to say plug it, but you're already there. Mixmaster G, who, as you can tell, has added a lot of value, as he always does. He has his own AMA live stream on Tuesdays, 7 p.m. That's Central European time. So you can check him out on Tuesdays. All right. Let's see. To all the people in here, I appreciate y'all. Damn, how do you pronounce that? Do the most draft? Oh, do the most draft. I see you. I appreciate you. Megawatt, Costa Rica, DJI, Mixmaster G, John Willard. I see all of you. I appreciate all of you. DJ Matrix, DJ Polo. I'm not going to scroll all the way over here because there's too many names in here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Who ate my sandwich? Tune in on Monday. Vinyl, live stream. Tune in on Monday. Hope to see y'all there. Until then, I have to say peace. Yeah. Salute to P Nice and Dub TV. I see y'all. Clayton Norton, Monday. Peace, peace, peace. I'm out. And DJ Replay as well. Later.